Mastering Mercy takes a lot of game sense and game awareness, so in this video, I play to aid you on your road to master Mercy. This is one Mercy tip for every hero. Let's go. If you're not sure how to get the maximum value on Mercy, click the card in the top right to the Ultimate Mercy Guide, where you can learn how to play Mercy effectively. Then come back here to get even more tips on how to carry. Let's start with D.Va. D.Va has the most damage up close and can easily burst down a person. You can sometimes see when she's going for a target when she boosts onto a squishy and destroys them with her rocket missiles. If you're paying attention to the D.Va, you can pocket the hero that she is diving and keep them alive with your yellow beam. Also, watch out for her mech kills now, so yep. Orisa gets the most advantage against you when she uses her halt on you. There are two things you can do to avoid being halted and killed. You can either fly away as soon as you see the halts, or wait till being halted, then immediately fly away directly afterwards. I tend to go towards the second option as it's more consistent and easier, but make sure not to do it too early because you still will get halted and your GA will get cancelled. Against Reinhardt, you want to keep your distance so you don't get sucked in by the massive hitbox of his charge. Playing around corners and not jumping all the time will help you LOS shatters. You can also easily super jump away from Reinhardt to negate his damage. For Roadhog, make sure to be staying behind corners and walls so you can avoid his hooks, and try not to fly around until you've seen him use hook. Super jumping near a hog can be dangerous for this reason. There's not much you can do against Sigma as Mercy, but try to pocket the person whose Sigma is on. Also, Valking or Gravitic Flux if you don't have a defensive ult or immortality field could be strong for the chain healing to keep everyone alive. Winston can do a lot of damage to you and your teammates, and you can almost out heal his damage. Winston does 60 damage per second and you heal 55 per second, so putting your yellow beam on someone who Winston is diving will take him a long time to kill them. Winston also likes to juggle mercies with his primal, and to fake him out, go up in the air and stop your GA mid-flight to throw off while the monkey is trying to predict your movement. You can also go under his primal too, but cancelling GA is very effective at stopping the juggle. Wrecking Ball is a weird character for Mercy. Kind of like Orisa's halt, you should be GAing after Paul pile drives you, so your GA doesn't get cancelled mid-flight. You can also connect your yellow beam onto teammates that Ball is diving to counteract the damage that he is trying to do. Also, Ball likes to boop people into his mines, so don't be standing out in the open where you can get booped into his mines and immediately die. When going for reses against Ball, be patient, because he may come in and try to boop you mid-res. Try to wait out his grapple or stand in a corner where you cannot get booped to make sure the res goes off. Again, there isn't too much you can do as Mercy against Azaria, but healing her targets so that they could live longer and calling out her bubble usage could be helpful for your team. You should be alt tracking Grav though and positioning at max beam range so you don't get caught in the Grav yourself. Against Ashe, be wary of her high damage and being out in the open for too long or flying in the open. If she hits you with dynamite while you are full health, you won't die if you don't take any more damage. But if you are already half when she dynamites you, you can activate Valkyrie to cancel out the damage of the dynamite. There's not much you can do against Bastion, but damage boosting long range DPS heroes like Hanzo, Ashe, Echo are great so that he can die faster. Playing against the Doomfist can be rough for Mercy. Like with Ball's pile drive, try to avoid flying away from Doomfist until he seismic slams you so your GA doesn't get cancelled. Super jumping can be a great way to avoid a Doom altogether from the punch and his other cooldowns. When he wants to go for a punch, just stand around the corner and don't peek him so he can't one-shot you with a punch. Listen for his sound effects so you know when it's coming. Against his ultimate, you can either fly out of it if he tries to land on you, or if he tries to bait you, just don't GA at all. Be ready for both, but you can always super jump after you hear his ult go off to avoid it altogether. Again, there's not much you can do against Echo, but be careful trying to save yourself with Valk. If Echo lands lots or all sticky bombs on you, don't Valk, especially if she's in close range because she will just focus beam you to death. Against Genji, your best bet to live is to dodge him with movement. Super jumping and GAing to your other support for assistance and hard cover is a good way to live as long as you can. I wouldn't recommend Valking when Genji blades most of the time, and just use it next fight after they've bladed. Genji's a dive hero and will probably dive someone squishy or your other support, so be watching for his flanks and keep your teammates alive. Hanzo is a long range sniper character that doesn't have much interaction with Mercy. Just stand around a wall so you don't get logged in the freaking face, please. Junkrat has a nasty one-shot ability that can easily kill squishies. If Junkrat has booped you into the air, try to GA as fast as you can so you are not on an easy arc in the air that can make Junkrat finish the kill on you. Against this tire, don't be afraid to either take out the pistol to kill it, or normally what I do is I disconnect any beam I have on someone so it's hard for the Junkrat to find someone. I'll disconnect the beam on my Ashe or something, play just far enough away from my teammates so that if the tire does find us, it will only be one person killed and not two. If you live, you can get the res off too. McCree has a flashbang CC that can easily mess up any character in the game. Getting too close to McCree as Mercy means insta-death most of the time. Also, be careful super jumping against him because he can 2-tap you. If you need to go for a res, see if you can be aware of the flashbang usage so you don't get your res cancelled. McCree's ultimate completely counters Valkyrie, so when you pop Valk, make sure you don't just fly into the skybox and are never too far away from hard covers so you don't get rolled by the high noon. Mei likes to freeze squishies and icicle them to confirm a kill. You can avoid the one-shot from Mei by connecting your yellow beam to an ally the entire freeze duration, and after the icicle they shouldn't die. If the ally is low already to begin with, you can body block the icicle to save them. Do not try to body block freeze because you can't and will also just get frozen. You can GA out of Blizzard and super jump to safety pretty easily, so either be out of range of it or GA immediately out of it. You really can't do anything against Pharah besides avoiding her and pocketing your hitscan DPS like McCree, Ashe, or sometimes even Widow to help finish them off. Just be ready for barrages from the high grounds and hard cover them. Reaper wants to get in close range on you and your team. Super jumping and GAing away from him can be a good way to take less damage. Consider swapping Mercy if Reaper is farming you and your team. You can either go Lucio and boop him, Brig to boop and stun him, or even Moira just to fade away from him. Against Soldier, you need to be aware of his ultimate tactical visor for when you're Valking. Remember, even when staying in Valkyrie, you should be in hard cover or around a wall, so when he activates tactical visor, you can easily line of sight it and live. Sombra can easily counter Mercy by hacking her, completely shutting down Mercy's movement. Although I would say to try to stay around your second support, so when they get hacked and shot at by Sombra, you can keep them alive with your yellow beam. If you can reactionarily Valk EMPs, I would say that's really good. Or you can just use hard cover to not get hacked, then Valk afterwards to save yourself and any teammates that are in a bad position. Also, if you're playing Mercy Zen, Sombra will be all over that Zen. And when she EMPs, Zen loses all of his shields, making him an easy target for Sombra, but you can fix this. If you know an EMP is coming in a fight, just keep your beam connected on Zen so when the EMP goes off, you are already healing Zen and he won't get one shot by Sombra. There's not much you can do as Mercy against Symmetra, but don't forget you can heal through shields as Mercy, and consider using Valkyrie if Sim's wall has your team split up. Against Torb, try to stand out of line of sight of his turrets so you aren't taking that extra damage. If you absolutely need to, you could take out the pistol to destroy his turret, but damage boosting someone to break it could be easier. Tracer is a flanky, high mobility hero that can easily ravage your backline without a stun. Try to stay as far away from Tracers as possible, and let me be honest, I don't think super jumping away from Tracer can help unless you get onto high ground that she can't get to. Tracer is still in close enough range to do lots of damage from super jump. So just crouch spamming and playing with walls can help you live longer in order to get peel. Also, don't forget to peel for your other support as Mercy too, cause you basically can keep that other support alive for as long as you are alive. Widow is another one of those long-range DPS, and you almost counter Widow if you aren't dying to her. Never peek a Widow, and try to super jump as little as possible with a Widow on the enemy team. Like Tracer, crouch spam and look down at the ground in order to strafe Widow and not get one-shots. Jumping, believe it or not, is also quite bad against Widow. It puts you on an easy trajectory for Widow to hit. But countering Widow and snipers can be easy as Mercy. If Widow gets an intro pick, just res it to completely negate all of her hard work. Easy. Ana has her anti-nade that can easily counter supports and healing. While there's not much you can do against Ana, she's also a sniper technically, so be careful in the open air and super jumping too often, and if you're low, because she can 3-shot you. Baptiste, also like Ana, has lots of hit scan damage that can poke Mercy down from high heights. Be careful for his ultimate though, and be sure to stay away from it because all damage is doubled through the amplification matrix and you can get blown up. Brigitte has a nasty stun that can counter Mercy kinda hard. Be careful trying to res too close to a brig because she has 2 cooldowns that can shut it down. She can either boop you with her whip shot or stun to cancel it, so make sure you are taking resing close to a brig in consideration with that. If a brig gets too close to you, you can easily super jump away from her stun and damage. Lucio honestly can have a lot of burst damage if he's reddening in your backline. Super jumping away from him is an easy escape, but Lucio hard counters your reses. Always wait for Lucio to boop before you go for a normal res. Normal meaning outside Valk. And while using Valk, he can still boop you out of res. And if you can wait for him to boop something else, then you can go for the res. Or if you can live a Valkyrie res without taking too much damage, try to fly onto the ground and be in the direction where the Lucio is with the soul behind you. So you would be in between the soul and the Lucio, so when he boops you away, you can still be in range for the res. When you see an enemy Mercy in a vulnerable position, always alpha them by taking out your pistol and dinking their face. Alpha. You can completely negate Moira's damage with your yellow beam. She does 50 damage per second and you do 55 healing per second, so you can easily help out someone who she is damaging. Be careful with Coalescence though, she does 70 damage per second then, and can burst you down or someone else, so playing hard cover and healing squishies are the best way to counter that. And lastly, we have come to Zenyatta. Zen's Discord can roll certain squishies if they get discorded and dove, so be wary for extra damage taken when your team is discorded, but there isn't much you're doing on Mercy against a Zen, so just don't get 5-orbed. Thanks so much for watching. Start applying these tips in your games and watch the SR roll in. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments or come by one of my Twitch streams at twitch.tv/HolyShiftKid. See you there.